Inside Story Uganda, real source of political updates.
A member of the PLU supported the cherry picking of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. What kind of dishonesty is this?
First of all, the Speaker was not just handpicked. The Speaker was elected in Kololo.
The Speaker
was elected in Kololo, and he contested with Honorable Paul Mwiru, and he defeated him.
On the prompting of one person.
And defeated him badly. You are aware about that one. But there was an election. Unless you are really not, I remember you are covering it live, NBS. There was an election in Kololo. The Speaker was elected. There's no question about it. Number two, if the opposition members of Parliament can put government or ask members...
So that was an election, right?
Of course it was an election in Kololo.
You look at it as an election. You went already coached on what to do.
What did you go on an election?
And who to vote.
What's an election? Let's define what's an election. Is you go and cast your vote in secret for the person you want. If people thought that they didn't want the Speaker of Parliament now, since it was secret ballot, Honorable Paul Mwiru would have won. Because voting was by secret ballot. It was not by lining up. You are aware about, I hope that one you are aware, Simon. So, if I go on the point you have asked me, that what is my interest in looking at the opposition, that's why I got the second part of the amendment that we're coming up with. The other one was the first part, the one of how they're going to elect. We are saying let them elect amongst themselves. But also the independents, because the law provides that even independents are supposed to be consulted. So let them go and elect the leader of opposition. Number two, we are talking about the question of accountability. When you look at the law, the same section provides that the members of the shadow cabinet of the opposition will mirror those who are in government. When you go for vetting, all ministers are accountable. You can censure the president, you can censure the prime minister, you can censure the speaker. All ministers can be censured. You have ever seen it?
Yeah, but there's also a provision on how a law can be removed.
There's no provision for prime minister.
Let me. No, members of parliament can censure prime minister. There's no question about that. A member, she's a minister. She can be censured by parliament. Anyone can be censured.
She's not a minister.
Anyone can be.
Prime minister.
She can be censured. The vice president can be censured. All ministers, any person who is serving at the mercy of the president can be censured. So these ministers, when they are appointed, they go to the appointments committee. Why? Because they draw funding from the consolidated fund, and therefore they must be found that they qualify. We even have the sovereignty bill. You have seen 4 ministers have been rejected by the committee. 4 of them. So if they are saying it should mirror cabinet, then why don't they want to be subjected to appointments committee of parliament? So that the same circumstances under which the ministers were rejected could also be for some of them. You may find someone is an agent of Americans, serving the interests of Americans, but he wants to be a minister, shadow minister of oil and gas, bring in foreign interests. So part of the bill is saying...
Is there a clause on censure of a leader of opposition? Right?
It is there.
Yes.
It is there. And do you know how it is there? We are saying we are expanding the grounds, because the law provides how you remove a leader of opposition. Let me tell you how. If he loses to be a member of parliament, if he ceases being a member of parliament, if he's withdrawn by his political party, if his political party no longer has members of parliament, those are some of the provisions they give how he can be withdrawn. They do not give how that leader of opposition can be accountable to parliament itself. They give all the power. He has a public office which is holding. He has 4.2 billion. You members, you are earning money. Yourself, you are earning money from constitutional fund. So you have to be accountable.
How long have you been in parliament?
I've been in parliament. Do you mean
this
regional
parliament?
But you know when we were sworn in.
Yes.
Don't you know? You mean
so barely a month in parliament.
You are aware about that.
And this is all that you're bringing.
No, come on. Let me tell you, first of all, that is blackmail, Simon.
How much thought have you had about
that? That is blackmail. You see, as I told you, we have started parliament. This is a law that concerns the administration of parliament. So before we start looking at how we can put things in order outside parliament, let's first put our house in order. Why do the members of the opposition, why don't they want to be accountable?
Okay.
Why don't they want to be accountable to parliament? So my point...
They have already explained to you.
So our point on the
how
issue...
accountability is enforced.
The issue on the point of amendment regarding removing the leader of opposition. We are saying we are adding the issue of misconduct, failure to account, and misconduct, failure to account, and incompetence. And the parliament itself has the power, like how they remove all the other people who have been misusing public funds, who have failed to work, how they removed Kutesa, how Nandut has been removed, and all that. They can also do the same to the opposition because the holding the opposition.
What is the role of Kabanda in this bill?
Who's Kabanda?
David.
The former Secretary General of NUP.
Yes.
The
former General Secretary of PLU.
Of PLU, I'm not aware of his role as far as I'm concerned. You are aware that Kabanda was my General Secretary, was my Vice Chairman when I was the National Chairman of the League, and was the Chairman of the district. So he has no input.
No. He said the process has started. And no sooner had he concluded the statement than you rushed to Parliament.
He is a member of Parliament. He is free to tweet whatever he wants. His tweets do not stop me as a member of Parliament.
Is it by coincidence?
My own
Is it by coincidence that PLU is deeply interested in an idea that you bore earlier?
I think you would have to ask the General Secretary and the Chairman. As far as I'm concerned, for me, I'm on the legislative agenda of Parliament to ensure that I move my motion, sick leave, on the 7th or 8th. If I'm granted, I draft the bill and bring it to the floor of Parliament. Then they can refer it to committee. It comes to Parliament. Let them oppose on the floor of Parliament.
Well, do you agree that these are tough times, dark times for the opposition in Parliament?
Well, I think I want to say that what triggered his motion is the tweets. And what triggered this debate is the presser we had where we condemned the human rights violations. That's why that when Honorable Mpuga talked about this matter, I agree partially with him that you see nuisance value politics at times would require at times that when you just keep quiet, because at first when we looked at our brother, had construed this exercise like a busybody type of arrangement because this thing had been dealt with and we thought we should not participate. But on a second thought, our population believes in nuisance value politics. That something can actually happen and they say, you see, you have not made any comment about it.
Is this part of nuisance value politics? When someone is arguing the law?
No, of course, there's no law. For instance, I've told him that the law does not account. My brother Mpuga is there.
Which I don't agree with you.
Have you ever held money in the office that you had the accounting office?
Does the speaker account?
That vote.
Does the speaker
you
account?
Understand? And I've told him.
Why was the triple A removed?
I've told him
on corruption. Does she account?
Of course, you know what she did.
She does not account.
You know what she did, and I told him that even activities planned and budgeted under the Office of Leader of Opposition, the Speaker approves them. You don't just go. There's the right that this is going to take place.
So it should not account.
So at no point.
It should not account at all.
There's no point. That of opposition
should not account.
If you talk accountability in terms of money, it doesn't account.
Accountability and functionality of his office.
You must also learn. You see, my brother Namara, and with a lot of difficulty, because you are my friend, I've been trying to, out of courtesy, to show you how certain things actually operate.
But for instance, in Parliament, how can you show me?
Of course, in Parliament,
I could be senior than you in Parliament.
In Parliament, I've told you that when money is voted, it is voted to the Parliamentary Commission. Mm-hmm. But you are getting an impression that when the money is voted, it goes in the pocket of someone. You understand? There is a work plan for information, and there is a budget. And when they're executing the budget, they follow the activities as they are.
I think
that's why
we've dwelt on this forever.
Yeah, but you see, he must understand them, because I don't want him to come on the floor of Parliament and then he gets embarrassed.
No.
Because
you want to suggest that he comes with a lot of naivety?
No. I've not said that. I'm saying that you see maybe what is going at this stage, that for you to move through a motion for leave to introduce a private member's bill, you move a motion and must justify. So all the justifications actually is raising don't hold.
So why are you worried?
You understand?
Why are you worried about that?
I feel for you.
No.
You understand? I feel for you. I feel for you. Because at the end of the day,
don't worry.
Because at the end of the day,
let me be embarrassed on the floor.
Because at the end of the day, when you go to the floor and then you read half the list of the leadership of NUP, of course that will be.
I'll read all of them.
That's dishonest.
I'll read all of them.
So in other words,
17 plus 30,
in other words,
47. Out of 47.
Yes. In other words, all the issues actually you are moving.
Out of 47, only 12 are from other political parties.
He has no merit. You understand?
How palatable is your motion to members of the opposition?
First of all, there are very many of them who have been inboxing me. They are in my inbox, including NUP members. Yes. They feel NUP itself has held them hostage, but they cannot talk. How many of them have you heard on radio?
Why don't they?
How many of them have you heard on radio and TV condemning this motion? Apart from Honorable Paul Mwiru and the three of them who are beneficiaries of this whole scheme.
Well, Honorable Mpuga, do we need to split hairs on the legalese in this entire bill? Or we should focus more on the spirit and the nuisance value that is attached to it?
There's nothing like nuisance value. I think I wish you can withdraw that statement. Because it's the wrong statement. It's the wrong statement. Because you cannot call
okay, the sweeteners attached.
That's better.
First of all, there's one thing that should be very clear. Parliament is subject to all laws governing accountability of public funds. And the procedures in Parliament are very elaborate and very clear. As a political leader in Parliament, your business is to present a program. And then the clerk, as accounting officer, will guide you through an appointed officer of Parliament on how to use those public funds. It's very clear. Therefore, it's not a question of somebody accounting for money in their pockets. Probably to account for the programs they have elected to do. And that is procedure. Reports are made and reports are submitted. I think that ghost should be rested. For me, still, I want us to ask these two honorable members to mutually agree there's a lot to do. The Honorable Namala sounds so kind in promising the opposition in Parliament that is fighting for their space and their rights.
100%.
How I wish he fought for their space before, during, and after elections.
I was not in Parliament.
No. You're a citizen and you're a leader. I've never heard you speak about the stolen elections across the country. I've not heard you speak about the violation of human rights during, before, and after elections. That's what is affecting the opposition more than the places in Parliament. And that's why I think the opposition must really stick to. So the whole idea about weakening or making the opposition leader account is just generic, it's general. And I would like to challenge anybody to bring a report that this leader of the opposition did not account. That's why we have this bill in Parliament.
But I thought you'd give it to Honorable Namara that he has dug deep and realized there is a lacuna that needs to be addressed. Let's subject it to a test. If it is unpopular, it is rejected.
It will collapse.
Of course, that is a right. And we're debating the possibility and the impossibility of his propositions. The other thing I'd like to invite him to appreciate is that we belong to the Commonwealth. Do you have an idea of which other Commonwealth country does what you were proposing as a way of understudy? Because the Commonwealth has unwritten methods of work, which we call peremptory norms at law. Are you trying to go ahead of particular peremptory norms that are known that in the Commonwealth, that's how the opposition works?
Maybe this will be a precedent.
You see the problem with the opposition, they always want to benchmark on foreigners. They don't have their own homegrown democratic systems. Now, I want to just chip in on his point. Honorable Mpuga here is the culprit of the issue of accountability.
How?
For example, these people of NUP removed you from being leader of opposition, that you were given 500 million awards by the commission. Was he the accounting officer?
Does that make me a culprit?
No, I want to ask you. You're a victim, not the culprit, sorry. You're a victim.
Of ignorance.
So,
that's why I continue to educate.
Honorable Paul, are you trying to say when Honorable Matthias Mpuga, when you removed him from leader of opposition for 500 million, was he the accounting officer?
No, you see, you are mixing.
No, you answer me. Answer that question.
You are actually mixing two things. You are mixing where money is appropriated to a vote. You understand, and when we would have an opinion to what you may get as a Namara.
Okay.
haven't
Honorable
answered me.
Mpuga.
The point I was
proceed.
making is that, and I want to answer him, when a wrong is made, it does not make repeating it right. That's why the law must be canvassed properly and with good intentions. I think what is besetting his proposals is the spirit. We are coming from a backdrop of stolen elections, a backdrop of violence during and after elections, and the opposition in parliament, outside the parliament, is not contented with the outcome of the election. And a prominent member of the ruling party is proposing how the opposition should run their affairs, including how they should have
in the parliament.
Of course, in parliament.
Yes.
You should not forget the fact that the opposition in parliament, bona fide, has a right to manage their affairs.
But they should also be accountable.
Accountability is
That's
generic.
not an issue.
You
And they should account.
You must come under the purview of accountability within parliament.
I
And the
actually-
oversight role of members of
I actually
parliament.
do not
Actually,
see.
there's no law which exempts opposition members from being
That's the point I
accountable.
wanted to make. There's no exemption, and the laws are very clear. If you want to change the framework of accountability in parliament, you're probably going to go for every officer or every political office in the parliament, not just the leader of the opposition. You have to go for everyone. Otherwise, you are targeting a single office when actually there are several constitutional offices, including that of government chief whip in parliament, which is the constitutional office, prime minister's office with the constitutional office. So I think you need to be very clear to avoid being misunderstood and your intention being misconstrued as vainly partisan and with the eyes targeting a group or individuals. I disagree with NUP on particular methods of work, but I would defend their right to work within what the law allows them to do. And I don't want us to use that, my mistreatment, out of ignorance and spite, as a basis for me to defend a wrong or actually misuse of the parliamentary platform to try and circumvent proper question that should have arisen on the floor of parliament relating to governance of the country.
There was a similar attempt towards streamlining operations in the office of the leader of the opposition. That was in the Lumu bill. Do you see any similarity between Lumu's and now Namara's?
Probably the difference is the intention. When you look at the when you look at the background to the Lumu bill, which is the memorandum of the bill, is totally different from the Namara bill. Namara has not brought to the memorandum, but he speaks to the memorandum. I can hear it from his tongue. It's a bit different. But I want to invite my
Honorable
brother.
Namara, did you take time to read the Lumu bill?
Well, first of all, I did take time to read the Lumu bill, but number two,
Did you?
I did. Yes, I did.
How different or similar is it to yours?
First of all, there is no big difference because it is all talking about how the leader of opposition should be elected. But most importantly,
NRM rejected it then.
but 17 members of the committee out of about 23 approved it and signed it. But because of the machinations and the godfathering within the parliament, it somehow did not see the light of the day.
Oh, no,
on the
can
floor
I
of
ask you a
parliament.
question?
Yes.
How are you going to deal with the opposition that works with the NRM and the independents that have memoranda with the NRM?
I do not know any part of the law, any of our laws in Uganda, that talk about members of the opposition or independent members of parliament signing memoranda with opposition political parties or NRM. You quote for me, which law in Uganda talks about that an independent member of parliament can sign with a political party?
I thought we were discussing practical politics.
Which law?
So you mean
No,
without the law?
we must base it on the law.
Now, let me ask you on a
must base it on the law.
So for you mean that because there is no law which provides for a memorandum, when Honorable Norbert Mao becomes a minister, Honorable Santa becomes a minister, members of independent members express their intention to work with NRM, that you that one doesn't show you that actually they are bed with NRM.
Those are now issues. Those are issues you're going to discuss at committee stage.
But
in the
your
committee.
bill, but
In
your
the committee,
bill,
yes.
your bill is suggesting that actually even those who are in bed with NRM should come and vote for the leader of opposition.
It is not
the independents as well, who have memorandum of understanding with NRM, should come and determine who.
But
the leader
Honorable
is.
Muhoozi, the law is clear. Administration of Parliament Act says consultation with independent members of Parliament. I'm not the one who made that law.
It says may.
Independent.
Honorable Namara,
and for information, we consulted. For instance, I'll tell you that there are members we consulted, and they told us who are independent. That for them, because they're independent, they want to stay in the middle there. They don't want to take say.
Well, as we take a break, I was intrigued by the term that you've been using invariably. Nuisance value politics. Maybe for the benefit of our viewers out.
The interpretation. If it is a bill for amendment, it is an amendment bill.
Or it can be done by the one it is targeting.
No, not at all. That is from your own machinations, of course, as you may want to swing it in whichever direction. But the bill is standing and it's going to go through.
NRM rejected the Lumu bill.
NRM did not reject the Lumu bill. The machinations in Parliament, because the Lumu bill had reached the committee stage, 17 members out of 23 had signed it. But the Speaker of Parliament, because of how he was controlling the opposition, he shelved it. It never went on the floor of Parliament. Had it gone on the floor of Parliament, it was going to go through.
Thank you. Honorable Muhoozi, how do we factor this bill and the controversy it's generated in the general politics that is running today? The question of human rights and several other things.
Well, I think I need to make one thing clear. I know it may not only be about now the question of the Lukwago, because the Honorable Lukwago's situation, which is our situation anyway, it's not about Lukwago's situation, that because we condemn the man, and I know even my brother does, the way Honorable Lukwago was handled is triggered off this. But tomorrow, they can pick you. And still, we shall, once they pick you in the way they have been picking people and tweeting about them, we shall still condemn. Because we have made that very clear. That when it comes to human rights, there's no compromises. Even if tomorrow they picked Honorable Namara, and we realize that the due process was not followed, we shall, of course, condemn those actions. Because we are first, now let me make it very clear.
So is this an extension of statecraft?
Well, I would say yes, to some extent, but the point I want to make to the movers of such a type of bills, because they may bring now a Muhoozi bill, that in as long as we occupy public spaces, we shall not stop condemning the illegalities. And as you know, we are waiting for Parliament. Once Parliament starts, the number of issues, including what Honorable Mpoga is talking about, they are scheduled to be also raised on the floor of Parliament. And you may raise and say, why are you questioning a stolen election? So we are coming for you tomorrow. So now they look for another bill to target whoever will be talking about that matter. You understand? Because from the way the Alpha and Omega in this case, of course, I know they're going to be. Also, now my brother was saying that a tweet produced a speaker and deputy speaker. A tweet has produced a bill. Now we may see tweets producing very many bills, geared towards crashing on dissenting voices. But the assurance I can give to
Namara says he's doing it outside the PLU.
Absolutely.
Of course, Honorable Namara knows that the public is not docile and gullible. At least they can read between the lines and see what he's actually doing. And the public can wish him well in the direction. You see, if you play my sister one time said that, we have finished, there was no opposition in Parliament. We had swallowed them. Now we are going to...
Which sister of yours?
The way she was talking. Shortly, the same system, turned against. So even like him, I know him. He studied human rights. He understands them properly. He should be the last person, you understand, to take things for granted. Because if tomorrow I'm picked, for whatever reason, it's either for standing to the public space I am in as a member of Parliament, I expect Honorable Namara to be among those raising up and saying this is wrong. Because, for instance, when we were arrested in Gulu, and Arua taken to Gulu, it is the Honorable Mpogas and the group who were stayed behind who raised their voices. Otherwise, we were members of parliament. But we are going to approach a month in the prison. And they kept on saying we had a gun. Along the way, the gun disappeared. Then they kept on, when we were being charged, they told us they were going to be charged of treason. So I kept on imagining treason were picked from a hotel. I was just saying the particulars of treason. So I kept on wondering that can it happen? So as whether the police officer came and said, the doctor, that is going to check our arrest to see. Then it whispered to us that you're going to be charged of treason. I said that this man is just joking. So I kept on waiting to see who would sanction a file of treason. Then until they told us that you are trying to stone the president's vehicle. Then we said, president's vehicle? Where was the vehicle? We didn't see the vehicle. And even we spent almost a year going to Guru to attend. Then later, the adjourned the matter Sunday up to today. We don't know what happened to the treason case. So anything can happen in this country.
So what if it had not been brought around this time? Because you also have issues with the timing of the bill.
No, we don't have.
Would it still be better?
Actually, we don't have issues with the timing of the bill. We are saying this bill was the issues to do with the bill were dealt with. What he misconstrues to be an issue now is what he terms consultation. You understand? But consultation has been litigated on and is defined. For instance, in this case, once we consult, we're not supposed to look for Honorable Namala. And we say, Honorable Namala, we consulted so and so.
Honorable Mwin, before I get to Honorable Mpuga, I believe you've picked one or two ideas. Do you think you can go back and then reach your bill to make it look better?
First of all, my bill is very rich. Actually, we're going to add in more things. Now, what I'm picking from him and from the public, you see, the public has been sending me a lot of messages for other things to involve in, even including members of UNUP. For example, they would want us to include how the leadership of the committees is constituted. They want to vote on how the leadership of the committees is constituted. So let me give you
just the way you vote.
Let me give you something just to ensure I remove the blackmail, which Honorable my brother Muhoozi is trying to bring, saying that this bill has come because they uttered statements and General MK was not happy. How many statements have you uttered since you came to Parliament, the last Parliament, up to now on the floor of Parliament, and how many bills have been brought in that regard as a way of reactionary bills? It's not there.
Okay. Yes. What if at the end of the day you censure Senyon?
There's nothing like censoring.
You want to censure?
There's nothing like censoring.
Actually, even before, the law as is does not provide for the Prime Minister. You can't censure a Prime Minister. I heard you say that you can't. And even if the ministers, even if you did, it's up to the president to determine.
Yeah, of course.
That's why the president.
But you can censure them. You can censure them.
Well, Honorable Mpuga. Yes, you come back.
Yes.
Honorable Mpuga.
You come back.
How does the current storm fit into the conversation around politics of the day?
You know, one philosopher did say that a poor man's wisdom is ignored, and a rich man's joke is taken seriously. The Honorable Namala will be disappointed one day if the motivator actually says that I was actually joking.
But you see, there's no motivator here. There's no motivator here.
So
there's no motivator.
Is it taking the joke too far?
No, I'm just borrowing, wisdom from a philosopher.
Honorable Mpuga should go and be a lecturer at Makerere University.
Please proceed.
He can be a good lecturer in languages.
Okay, fine.
I'm actually a teacher, professional teacher, if you want me to be in class. And I enjoy teaching. You see, the whole thing we are debating is politics at the highest level. In 2022, I had a 2-day retreat with the entire opposition. And my objective was to take the opposition through the concept of statecraft and the DNA of Ugandan politics. And I was educating them that, look, our DNA from independence was misconstructed. It is a civil-military relationship. And should you doze as the civilians on duty, the military eats into your space. You must be awake, you must be aroused, you must be motivated, you must be on the move to keep the military in space and in the entirety occupy your space. because this DNA is not going to go soon. But if you work smartly as the civilian part of the DNA, you can actually eat into the military DNA and try to dilute it. But because over the last couple of years, we have witnessed a dilution of the civilian DNA, and the civilians have slept on duty, and those charged with the duty have elected to be simplistic on this duty, we are where we are. And I want to invite colleagues in the opposition to understand that the job before us is not that to plow around and joke and make small motivated, quarrels. We have an entire nation looking up to us to fight for that little space. In 2023, I made a statement on the floor of Parliament about the shrinking civic space. It was debated. Even resolutions were made. Government came back and even made commitments on the floor of Parliament through the Prime Minister and the Attorney General and the Minister of Internal Affairs. So does the Honorable Namara know these commitments and is willing to follow up with these commitments? Because part of what this proposed legislation is trying to eat into is the civic space of the opposition. And the legislation motivated by numbers that, we can have it, we have the numbers, is not going to grow our democracy.
So in a sense, this is awakening to the opposition, isn't it?
Invariably, yes, the opposition must be awakened to the possibilities. See, the numbers, the NRM stroke period you have are motivating for crime. They can actually murder. I am actually waiting for the time I will see the Honorable Namara lead an onslaught on the floor against the violation of human rights.
Do you need numbers to murder?
Of course, I'm graphically speaking about murder using numbers. I love competition. I hate vindictive politics. I hate revenge. I hate retribution. This legislation should not be retributive of an act of vengeance against positions that are construed as unpalatable to individuals or groups. We can thrive in this country competing against each other with decency. And even when you believe Matthias Mpuuga has committed a crime, he can be treated as a citizen with a modicum of decency. The action of the past couple of weeks for me are very besetting. And I want to invite colleagues in Parliament that probably that should occupy half of the first session of Parliament to have guarantees.
Here is a shaken Parliament. I think this has now gone to the core of the opposition in Parliament.
It speaks to what I said earlier, that when the military successfully eats into the DNA of the civilian part, the civilian will be shaken. And the few that still have some energy, some fire in their belly, should summon the others to stand firm and say, hey, we need to guard this space. That small space in which you stand is where you're going to even stand and protect and defend the military. Do you remember 2006, 2005? Tumukunde versus the Attorney General and the Electoral Commission. I remember so well that challenge in Parliament and in the Constitutional Court. It means that actually at some stage even the military can find itself disadvantaged. And therefore they will need that little space of the minority to speak for them. So for me, it's a general invitation to the colleagues in Parliament and outside the Parliament to figure out these possibilities. Sometimes it's because of our history. Some people are testing to see whether that history can be sustained with the disadvantaged civilian side. And some civilians, either out of excitement, are playing along. I don't think everyone is safe if we allow this to play unabated. At least, you're not going to flex. You did ask me earlier, can the opposition fight these proposals? It's not to be a physical fight.
No, just nipping them
Of course,
in the
I
bud.
understood what you said.
Yes.
You are asking. But I'm just saying the opposition
I
should.
hope you'll give me the same time.
The
you are quoting him
opposition should be able
uninterrupted.
to make a passionate appeal from within and without Parliament for the nation to speak with one voice to say, hey, this is one country we call home. We can thrive decently with our disagreements and make the future better.
Would you, Honorable Namara, walk with your head high as having been an architect of something this sinister as it's been widely described?
First of all, Simon, those are your words of calling emotion.
No, but you've had the sentiment.
An amendment.
You felt the
No,
sentiment.
they are not sentiments. They are maybe from 3-4 people. How many people have you consulted yourself? How many have you consulted on social media and everywhere? How many opposition MPs? You have heard the Honorable Kawamala of DP himself. Sebamala of DP. He's supporting the bill. So how many other opposition members of parliament have you? You see, opposition is not only about NUP. That's one thing you must understand. And that's the spirit under which the law, that section of the law, was put in place, that may consult other political parties. NUP is not the only political party. And this kind of innuendos being created by the Honorable Matthias and others to insinuate that the country is on fire, and therefore this bill is not necessary. It's not necessary to who? We have so many political parties in parliament. I've given you an example.
Such on water it can
There are
drown.
47 positions in parliament for the opposition. One political party called NUP has taken more than 80% of those positions. Do you call that constructive consultation in parliament? Or are you trying to say that other parties like DP, UPC, FDC do not matter at all?
Why are you
in
vouching
parliament?
for parties that haven't consulted you?
Who tells that? Maybe some of them are in my inbox.
Who in particular?
I don't have to tell you that.
No.
I don't
You
have
need
tell
to
you
be
that.
honest.
No, I don't have to tell you that. It's within my right. What I can tell you is there are so many people who would want, because this is not the first time. You have heard the member of parliament of DP. He has told you that any person who opposed a flag bearer of NRM and contested and won is a member of the opposition. So everyone who stood against the NRM candidate and then NRM formed a government which is in power is a member of the opposition. So when we are construing opposition, we are talking about all those people who opposed the members of parliament. I have heard the offside that the members of the opposition, they don't sit on the same side with NRM, they sit with the members of the independent members of parliament. What does it show? It means parliament has two sides only: the ruling party, the ruling side, and opposition side. And the opposition members of parliament belong to the independent members of parliament belong to the opposition because they stood against the members of parliament of NRM.
If I could take you to the question that Honorable Mpuga posed, have you benchmarked anywhere in any Commonwealth country where such an irregular...
Why do you call it irregular?
It's quite irregular. It's irregular.
According to which law?
That NRM can dictate who the leader of opposition or what kind of business the leader of opposition...
I want to refer you back to the Constitution. Article 59, Article 94, and then Rule 127 of our Rules of Procedure, which give Parliament powers in terms of legislation, but also it gives a member of Parliament powers to come up with a private member's bill. Therefore, it is not the first time that we have had this bill come up. Is it the first time? No. There was a remote bill. There was even another bill before that, trying to amend certain provisions of this law to ensure that the minority members of Parliament can participate. But let me ask you a question. If the member of the NUP, for example, if they have the numbers, and we're saying, okay, you amend, since you don't want to consult, you go and vote. If you can vote, since you have majority, and you win, well and good. But if you vote, and they vote against you, and bring a DP, well and good. If you promote democracy, why are you fearing competition on your own side, but you want competition on the NRM side?
Are you cautious about becoming a disgrace unto the NRM if this doesn't?
Those are your words which have opposition tendencies, Simon, on your side. Because from your narrative, I can see you're driving an opposition kind of agenda. Because you cannot call a member of parliament.
Which lenses are you using?
I'm using your own words which you're talking. Because if a member of parliament has brought, let me first finish my statement. If a member of parliament, later, it's now my time. If a member of parliament has brought up a private member's bill, how can you call it varuga? Using which lenses? Are you a member of parliament? Let it go to the committee stage. Let it go to be processed. Bring your views. Any Democrat, that's what you do, unless you're dictators in the opposition. You bring it, let it come to the committee stage. Let's debate it with a reason, with a lot of English, as Honorable Matthias Mpuga is doing, with a lot of innuendos I would want. If it does not pass the committee stage, it will collapse. What are you scared of? We have all the necessary steps to process a bill, and they are properly put in the law. So if you're a believer in the rule of law, if you believe in the rules of the game, allow the bill to be processed, let it be rejected at all levels, and it will collapse.
Do you envisage a PLU chosen leader of opposition?
But how? PLU is not a political party. That's number one. Number two, PLU is not...
But the motivator is the head of PLU.
PLU is not a political party. Let me first correct you. I hope you are aware that is a pressure group. Number two, PLU has no member of parliament because they are not a political party.
But you are PLU leaning.
But there's no political... PLU is a pressure group. We are members of the National Resistance Movement. We believe in the ideals of PLU on accountability and fighting corruption. However, they have no influence. PLU has no influence in selecting the leader of opposition. Unless you are saying that these guys of opposition, they're actually members of PLU themselves.
Your leader says he wants a PLU leader of opposition. Do you agree with him?
If that happened,
do you agree with him?
If that happened, it would mean the opposition, there are more in opposition who are working with us.
Honorable Mweru, do you see scenarios unfolding? Take, for instance, how to manage the intent of the PLU boss. He wants a PLU leader of opposition. How best can it be managed?
Well, I have no comment about that, but what I wanted to say on one of the reasons, of course, I don't see how I can engage into the PLU business.
You may join soon.
Because I don't take I don't take serious. I know we have got
there are two PLU chosen speakers
on Twitter, yes. But that maybe that's the new method they have adopted. But I wanted to maybe to give some information to my brother that one of the things maybe you don't know why you need maybe even to consult before you go on with your bill. Like, for instance, there are parties when it comes to numerical strength, when you are constituting even leadership in parliament, or committees, or even designating members, you realize that the numbers we have, each and every person is placed at every, for instance, like at committee stage, where the requests have come from as part of the further consultation we do. But I wanted to deal with the consultation because it's what seems to be disturbing you. The consultation. That the consultation as is, there's no form it must take. Maybe that's what has also been disturbing you. But we do a lot of consultation as I close on this matter. So you don't need to worry. You need to concentrate more. Even because, for instance, you didn't respond to, because we have members of parliament who are NRM, who are from opposition, who are in the cabinet. We have members who are independent, who are working, who also who are working with NRM. And for you, you had said that you had been mistaken to think that because others sit on our side, therefore they are conscripted to be members of opposition by sitting on our side.
Honorable Mweru,
which is not the
Honorable
case.
Mweru, what would it take for the wish of the principle behind all this to be granted?
There's no principle behind all this.
Well, you see, they have the numbers, and this is the mob justice Honorable Mpuga referred to, that they can use it the way they do. But I know what my brother, the hurdle is going to face, is that other than merely bring a motion, for some reasons, one of them now is very popular. He has been all over about the bill. This bill must be, this motion is processed in the House. And there must be sound reason for which Parliament grants you leave.
Yes, no problem.
You understand? I was just saving the embarrassment
There's no
to
embarrassment.
be the one of the first MOP, because before we had debated that if a member is agitated to bring something, all he wants to do is work by bringing a bill, why should Parliament deny?
But do you see
A member leave.
do you see the two
But-
speakers summoning their political conscience when they have to pay allegiance to a certain authority?
Well, you see, like for the question of leave is granted by the entire House. And I don't know whether maybe you need to improve your bill and the way you are putting it up, because if you go that way, you will be denied the leave.
Have you seen it?
No, from the way you are talking,
Then you would be very happy.
you understand.
Well, Honorable
You would be happy
Mpuuga,
with the dynamic.
as a senior legislator, do you see Parliament being arm-twisted to play to the whims of the principle?
I am never speculative, unfortunately, on matters of politics. But what I can say will be a statement as a matter of advice, namely to the Honorable Paul Muhoozi, is to rally the opposition to understand how intricate your position is in Parliament, and therefore try to work together even when the situation is most precarious. You need to work together and to overcome it. Secondly, to my brother, the Honorable Namara, I'm happy to hear him speak the language of justice and fairness.
Very good.
I'm made to believe that probably because we also don't know, you also don't know, our Lord could be on the way coming. That now, those hitherto who had never had justice as part of their lingua, are seeing that justice is very important in the conduct of public affairs. May you please carry through that language of justice, through the thread of your legislation, that this country can see an emergence of an epoch of a new belief in justice, not simply rhetoric to serve the moment of the time. Because what is constraining the growth of our democracy is injustice, brazen injustice, brazen unlawlessness, brazen impunity. That's what is killing the space in which we should be playing as public servants. If you carry through that way, and the language is justice, not revenge, not retribution, not vengeance, not show of martial, political martial and power, because that too has limitations.
Yeah, but politically speaking, there always comes a moment where you draw certain scenarios of what could happen. Do you see any scenarios of how this bill could sail through?
My construction of how Parliament works, especially in the early month, is that anything is possible. Sobriety normally reigns in latter month, when in reality later reigns into the legislature that actually we could have done better. It's normally late. But this is time to impress. You will see people jumping on their feet to speak, to make statements that you may not even understand that they could be said by members of Parliament. Because this is time to show presence. And Namala and the group were smart, that they come at a time when many, because he's been in Parliament in East Africa, he knows how motivating it can be to speak, even about speaking about what you don't know. So he could easily ambush these well-meaning novices into legislative murder, when actually believing that they are doing their work. Like I said, that
Ambush
the job
or
of
trick.
whatever it is, that the job of an MP is to make laws. The question is, which law? We are supposed to make laws that make positive addition to the wishes of our people, not to fill shelves that you'll never implement them.
Finally, as we get out of here, Honorable Namara, other than Lenos Ngopek and another legislator with whom you are at the press conference, who else is with you?
Oh, the entire House, including the opposition, they are supporting this bill. And I can tell you, for a fact, you see that, my colleagues, Honorable Muhoozi and Honorable Mathias Mpuuga, I was smiling when I was talking, because he talks a lot of rhetoric, when you call members of Parliament the novices, they're excited.
I said well-meaning.
They don't know what to do, and they can be ambushed. These are very senior members of society. First of all, what's wrong with the members of Parliament of the opposition, electing their own leader of opposition. Why are some people hell-bent, or why are they worried of an election of the democracy they have been so much preaching about to have in NRM and in Uganda? We are saying Uganda have an election. Don't go for appointment in Kavule and you bring a leader of opposition without consulting the other minority parties. If you feel you have majority in parliament, as NUP, you go for an election with other members of the opposition so they can elect you, so that if you make a mistake as a leader of opposition, they can put you to account for it. That one, in that one, Honorable Matthias Mpuga and Honorable Muiru, I don't see any injustice which you're talking about.
Can you name three members of the opposition who are on your side?
Oh, very many.
No.
You're going to see them in the voting.
You have the liberty. Please name them.
Let me tell you. No. This one, you see,
what is so secretive about?
We are processing a bill. We are seeking parliamentary approval, leave of parliament, to go and start drafting the bill. So it will be premature for me to start.
If your bill is palatable, tell us who is with you.
Don't worry about that one. You will see how palatable it is when it is being passed by the opposition themselves. I can assure you, members of NUP, if the secret ballot, because they have been hijacked by a cartel, a few members from Kavule, they have been hijacked. So we are the liberators. Actually, I'm like the liberator. Yes. I'm the liberator. No, it will depend if you are voting in your. If you are voting in your no, I mean in the opposition. When you are voting, you are a member. When you are voting, you are a member as a leader of opposition. You understand? It can be in the rules that voting will be by secret ballot when you are voting as members of the opposition. Of course, I know how you vote in Parliament. I've been there for 8.5 years. There's nothing new you can lecture about procedure of Parliament.
Yes. How huge is your appetite to get Senyonyi out of that seat?
I don't even know. I've seen Senyonyi twice, I think physically. I have no appetite for him, and this bill does not target him because it cannot work. It cannot work retrospectively. Number two, NRM cannot remove Senyonyi.
Why?
Because for him as it is now, first of all, as it is now, he can be removed by these members of the opposition themselves. They're going to remove him if they feel he's not performing. And we're giving them that mandate. Yes, we are giving them that mandate that if you feel you can remove